Hello again, this is Robert at Speed Zone Automotive. Today I'm going to go over the installation of an external fuel regulator. In this case I use the Aeromotive regulator. It is part number 13105. And that's this unit right here. Then I also got an Aeromotive gauge. So when the car is running, you know, I can set the fuel pressure at idle with the vacuum line, boost line hooked up, not hooked up, to set in a baseline pressure and then go from there. But yeah, you need this to kind of tune in the regulator. But this is the regulator itself. Okay, so you're going to need the gauge, the regulator. You'll need some vacuum tubing, your boost vacuum tube that goes into the side of the manifold right over here. You are going to need some adapters. I got the adapters from T1 Race Development. They're a good outfit. They make a nice product, but you are going to have to remove, see if I can show you on a diagram, you are going to have to remove the inlets that come with the car. There we go. Okay, so this guy here, this guy here, of course the stock regulator, the tubing, all that gets removed, and you're going to replace them with the adapters from the T1 Race Development, the fuel rail adapters. They're $39.95 each. You'll need two of them because they are going to go where the stock inlet and the stock exit go, and then of course you're going to remove, that goes with it, the fuel regulator. All right, so you're going to take those out. You're going to put the T1 Race Development adapters in there, and then you are going to need some other fittings. I'm going to attempt to show those to you. You're going to need 3 fittings like this. That's minus 06 male to minus 08 O-ring port adapter. One of these is going to go on the fuel outlet, the return line, off of the fuel regulator. It'll go at the bottom. And then the other 2 are going to go on the adapters that replace the original inlet and exit ports on the fuel rails. So one will go underneath there, and then the other 2 will go in back here where those T1 Race Development adapters are, and then you're going to run your lines off those. So once you get, and this is, again, finding any room to mount anything in these cars is always a challenge, but this is where I came up with to mount this. It worked. You can drill into the brake fluid reservoir compartment. There's nothing behind it, so it's easy to drill. It's easy to get the nuts in the back there to bolt that down. And then once it's bolted down, it's just a matter of getting the fuel line. Now this, you're going to have to buy some fuel injection rated hose line. It's expensive, but it's easy to work with. I think this is rated like 150 psi, so it's plenty. And again, the one is coming off. This is going into the regulator. The top goes into the regulator. Again, you'll need one of these adapters here for that. And then it goes to the return line, which is the bottom, coming out the bottom of the regulator. And for that, you're going to need one of these little guys here to do that. And then, like I said, you also use these in the back where it goes into the fuel rail and out of the fuel rail. You'll need this also. So you get your tubing and find out your lengths. I bought some of this, the heat shielding I think it's a good idea. You want to keep that fuel line as cool as possible. So this is readily available online. Now, when you come to these fittings here, of course, you're going to depressurize the system when you start, and you're going to take, this is the inlet line, and this is the exit line. The exit line is smaller. Originally, I was going to buy like some new elbows, you know, with fittings, and do that. And then I figured, you know, I can probably just use the fittings that are there, which I did. Now, on the inlet side, this fitting is bigger. You are going to have to cut off the outside sheath of the hose in order to get this over a 3/8 fuel injection fuel line. I'll try to show you what that looks like. Yeah, basically, you know, it's going to be it's a hose like this, but it has a rubber covering, and then it has like a hard line on the inside. So what you need to do is cut this rubber covering off. You know, be careful. You don't want to gouge the internal line. So, you know, use an X-Acto, whatever, with the blade side up, and then cut off what you need, because a 3/8 hose will not fit over this, but it will fit over the internal line. So this one you're going to have to cut out the outside sheath first, and then you're good to go on that. On the return line, it's smaller. So on that one, you basically just cut it and leave it, you know, leave it as it is, and then put your hose over that, and you put it over the sheathing that you've left on the return hose, because it's a smaller diameter, and 3/8 works perfect without having to cut the external part off the return line. Once you've done that, I mean, it's just a matter of routing the lines, which is simple. The hardest part is when you do this, you have to take the manifold off to get to the stuff back there. You know, there's not a lot of room in back to work. So take the manifold off, detach your inlet pipes. I left the throttle position sensors on, just detached the inlet pipes and took everything off. I mean, the manifold is very easy to get off. And, you know, detach all your tubing, anything that goes into the manifold. Remember where it went, you know, because you're going to have to put it back. But then that's it. You know, it eliminates some of these little baffles and this car has a lot of miles on it. So at the same time, I went to bigger fuel pumps, and then I figured, okay, then I'll need the fuel regulator. And but like this is the fuel pressure regulator that comes from the factory, and then there's these guys here that are the inlet and exit ports on the fuel rails. These are the factory ones, and then the ones from the T1 race development, they replace these. They're good size, they're easy to get on there, and they work. No leaking whatsoever. So I figured, yeah, I'm not sure what these are like little dash pots. I'm not exactly sure. This one is obviously was hooked up to the line here, and then this went to the boost line. So this was some kind of a sending unit to the pressure regulator. So you're eliminating a lot of the stuff that over on a high mileage car, which this one is, could start wearing out and going bad. So that is pretty much it for this video. Pretty straightforward, easy to do, and everything worked like it should. Now I can control the fuel pressure. I know I have a good regulator, and everything seemed to be working properly. So that's it for now from Speed Zone. See you next time.